Breaking news: an extremist LGBT movement has been banned by a top Russian court. Representatives for the LGBT community are worried that this decision by Russia's Supreme Court to label LGBT activists as extremists could lead to arrests and prosecutions. The decision was made on Thursday. It was announced to a Reuters reporter present in court that it had granted the Justice Ministry's request to label the international LGBT social movement as extremist and prohibit its activities. This follows a trend of tightening regulations regarding the expression of gender identity and sexual orientation in Russia, which has seen legislation prohibiting medical or legal gender transitions as well as the promotion of non-traditional sexual relations. Putin has long worked to portray Russia as a defender of traditional moral principles in opposition to the Western world's decadence, and he is expected to announce his intention to seek re-election in March. The West, he said in a speech last year, could embrace rather strange, in my view, newfangled trends like dozens of genders and gay parades all they wanted, but no country had the right to force them on another. Before the court decision was announced, Dmitry Peskov, Putin's spokesman, told reporters that the Kremlin was not following the case and would not comment on it. After starting its session at 10 a.m., 7 o'clock GMT, the Supreme Court took approximately 5 hours to deliver its ruling. Even though the proceedings were off-limits to the media, reporters were granted access to hear the verdict. Since the Justice Ministry requested the investigation on November 17, stating, without providing examples, that various signs and manifestations of extremist orientation, including the incitement of social and religious discord, had been found in the LGBT movement's activities in Russia, activists had seen the decision coming. St. Petersburg LGBT activist Alexei Sergeyev told Reuters TV earlier this month, "Of course it's very alarming, and I don't remember the threat ever being so serious and real." Already, Russia has outlawed over 100 groups due to their extremist beliefs. Arrests have preceded prior listings, such as those of the Jehovah's Witnesses religious group and organizations associated with opposition politician Alexei Navalny. According to Sergeyev, many LGBT people would be left without support if open gatherings like meetings where you can just sit and drink tea or psychological and legal support were to be hidden. They will either commit suicide or simply be in some terrible state, their life will be shortened and their health will deteriorate, they will drink and smoke more, and so on, somehow trying to escape from this reality. The story has been updated to reflect that the court's decision-making process took approximately 5 hours from the beginning of the hearing, rather than the 2 hours stated in paragraph 7. The Ukrainian president has visited the advanced command post on the front line in Kupiansk, Kharkiv region. Reuters, Mark Trevelyan, and Kevin Liffey, editors. Air defense alerted in 7 regions of Ukraine. L'Air report diverse esplosioni nelle immediate vicinanze della centrale nucleare Ucraina di Khmelnytsky per un periodo di 20 minuti. The advanced command post on the front line in Kupiansk, Kharkiv region, was visited by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. A member of the Ukrainian nuclear power plant's monitoring team reported hearing diverse esplosioni nelle immediate vicinanze per un periodo di 20 minuti on the night between Tuesday and Wednesday, according to the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA. L'incident ha dimostrato che tutte le centrali nucleari dell'Ucraina rimarranno a rischio finché la guerra continuerà. Guadalupe General Rafael Mariano Grossi observò in un comunicato pubblicato sul sito web dell'IAEA, nonché l'impianto non è stato direttamente colpito. While this was going on, anti-aircraft gunfire was heard in 7 regions of Ukraine: Kiev, Dnipropetrovsk, Zhytomyr, Cherkasy, Kirovohrad, and Mykolaiv. The Russian Federation has reported that a Ukrainian drone was shot down over the Belgorod region. Advanced topics: the former leader of the Wagner Group, Yevgeny Prigozhin. The tactical nuclear weapons, what they are, how they differ from the strategic ones, and the effects. The life of Zelensky, from stand-up comedian to president during the war. The photo. For Sky TG24 News updates, the Ukrainian government is turning Lavrov and OSCE into a appendice to the West. In a highly critical discussion of the West, Russia's top diplomat Sergei Lavrov accused the OSCE of becoming an appendice to NATO and the US. During a meeting of the Estuary del OSCE ministers in Skopje, the capital of North Macedonia, Lavrov stated, Los SISTA sostanzialmente transformando en apéndice della NATO EWE. Russia blocks prisoner exchanges with Kiev. He accused Russia of blocking any exchange of war prisoners between the two countries, according to Ukraine's Commissioner for Human Rights. The trades will not happen because Russia does not want them to, said Dmytro Lubinets, the Human Rights Commissioner of the Ukrainian Parliament, in a telegram message. Zelensky pays a visit to the front line in Kupiansk. The advanced command post on the front line in Kupiansk, Kharkiv region, was visited by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The same chief of state writes it on Facebook. Zelensky met with Ukrainian soldiers defending the east. Oleksandr Syrsky, commander of the Eastern Military Group, is shown in a social media video explaining the situation on the front lines to the president. The Russian invasion of Ukraine is an insult to our values, it seems. On the opening of the annual meeting of the Council of the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, OSCE, its acting president, the minister of the Southeast Macedonian Estuary, Bujar Osmani, said, La guerra de agresión de la Russia contra el Ucrania es un insulto to the values of the OSCE. Adding to his earlier statement, this war mina la fiducia, el ideologo y la nostra capacidad de agir in response to his Russian homologo Sergei Lavrov, whose presence had prompted Ukraine, Poland, and the Baltic states to renounce the meeting. We are working hard to ensure that 1 million artillery rounds arrive in Ukraine, Michel, but we are behind schedule when it comes to delivering them to Kiev. Agreed, a una chiesa. We were hoping for a little more time, but it will happen. This was told to the European Defence Agency by Charles Michel, President of the European Council, OSCE, Invasion Russa in Ukraine e insulto a nostri valori. On the opening of the annual meeting of the Council of the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, OSCE, its acting president, the minister of the Southeast Macedonian Estuary, Bujar Osmani, said, La guerra de agresión de la Russia contra el Ucrania es un insulto to the values of the OSCE. Adding to his earlier statement, this war mina la fiducia, el ideologo y la nostra capacidad de agir in response to his Russian homologo Sergei Lavrov, whose presence had prompted Ukraine, Poland, and the Baltic states to renounce the meeting. Kremlino, Putin's press conference on December 14. On December 14, Russian President Vladimir Putin will hold a press conference to answer citizens' questions while also holding a live Q&A session. The Kremlin's spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, announced this. Donald Trump, Kissinger uomo di stato saggio e lungimirante un diplomatico eccezionale, un uomo di stato saggio e lungimirante per molti decenni ha goduto in tutto il mondo di un'autorita meritata. In a message of condolence to the family published on the Kremlin website, Russian President Vladimir Putin thus designated Henry Kissinger. La Taslo Riferis, Bulgaria rejects the request, sending Lavrov to Skopje to reassure Greece. Today, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov arrived in Skopje to participate in an OSCE summit with an aircraft that swooped over Greece but not Bulgaria, as initially anticipated, following Sofia's authorities' denial of authorization due to the presence of UE sanctions target Maria Zakharova on board. According to a Russian delegation member quoted by Interfax, this is what he said: Kiev, Russian forces clash with Donetsk case, children injured. Durante la nat l'esercito russo ha lanciato un massiccio attacco contro tre città della regione di Donetsk, Pokrovsk, Myrnograd e Novogradivka, sono state colpite abitazioni private, ci sono feriti, compresi bambini, potrebbero esserci ancora persone sotto le macchie. Ukrainian Minister of Internal Affairs Igor Klemenko has mentioned this. Myrnograd, Pokrovsk, and Novogradivka were all hit. As a result of the explosions, 10 people, including 4 children, were injured. The search parties are looking for 5 people under the rubble, the minister wrote on Telegram, adding that 6 S-300 mines had been launched.